activity. He became the manager of Nike's Native American business in 2000 and has led the development of the Nike Air Native N7 shoe, the N7 retail collection, and the N7 fund. These are aimed at helping to create access to sports for Native American and Aboriginal youth in the United States and Canada. Sam has been recognized through several prestigious award nominations for his passion and work. Most recently, he has been honored with the 2010 President's Leadership Award from the National Indian Gaming Association for Nike's commitment to health promotions and disease prevention with Native tribes across the U.S. Please join me in welcoming Sam McCracken.
My name is Sam McCracken. That's my given name. I reside from the great state of Montana. I grew up on a rural Indian reservation in northeastern Montana. We were a farming and ranching community up there, and I come from very humble beginnings, as many of you here in the room come from. What I'd like to do is take you on a bit of a journey. Share a bit of a story with you. But when I do this, when I speak to communities, mostly youth, I talk to a lot of youth, I always preference it to say, if I can inspire one person to follow their passion, follow their dream, and make a commitment to something that they didn't think they could do, then it was worth me getting on a plane in Portland, Oregon, and flying here to be part of this event today. So that's my goal today. I hope that somebody leaves inspired, and I'd love to share that. My background to before Nike was I worked in distribution, but I worked in distribution so I could coach basketball. Because when you work in distribution, you get off at 1:30, you could be at practice by 3:30, and then you could make it to your games, and work didn't interfere with what you love, and that's with working with kids. So then creating this program, the vision I have for what we call today Nike N7, comes straight from that passion of helping kids. And with this opportunity, I get to help Native kids. So I'm excited to take you on a bit of a journey and share my story with you. I did start in our Wilsonville distribution center, loading containers in the warehouse. And how the story goes is I got asked to revitalize our Native American employee network. And bless my mother's heart, I lost my mother in 2000 to type 2 diabetes. And that's part of this journey, part of this story. And I shared with my mom, I was like, Mom, they asked me to be the chairman of the Native American Employee Network at Nike. She's like, wow, son, I'm so proud of you. So she shared with my auntie back home. Somehow an article popped up in the local paper, the Wotani paper, and our local paper in Poplar, Montana, that tribal member becomes chairman of Nike's Native American Employee Network, and talked a little bit about the Nike as a company. No mention that I work 50 hours a week unloading containers in the warehouse. So I got this random phone call from the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Coordinator from the Fort Peck tribes. Her name is Verbena Sager. I always reference Verbena when I do my keynote speaking, because without Verbena picking up the phone and saying, I just received a grant for the Special Diabetes Program for American Indian and Alaskan Natives. And in the language in that grant, talks about incentives. And right now, I'm having to drive to Wilson, North Dakota to the Walmart to get my incentives. Wouldn't it be cool if Nike could sell me some product that I could use as incentive so I could help get more people to engage? Because I think if I was able to incentivize our community with Nike product, I'd get more people to show up. Because think about that job, health promotion coordinator in your tribe, right? That's somebody's job. Their job is to get people to engage in programs. So I looked at it as a toolkit. What toolkit can I provide for Bina to be able to do her job? Did a little bit of research and figured out that, yes, I could, there were many tribes that received that grant, and then why wouldn't they want that same access that the Fort Peck tribes wanted? So I want to preference that with this kind of business beyond gaming mentality, right? Because gaming was never part of any conversation I had with any tribe. It was about providing healthy lifestyles for our communities and leveraging the power of the largest sports and fitness company in the world to do that. Giving a tribal health promotion coordinator that tool for her tool chest. That was the premise. It's still that today, but it's way, way much more than I could ever imagine. I get that asked a lot. So as you look at it, I'll share with you our mission statement. And this is what the premise of I built my one-page document. It's to bring inspiration and innovation to each and every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you're an athlete. So it doesn't eliminate anybody. This is the mission statement of the company that I get to go to work, wake up every morning, I go to work for. And I said, well, Native people need to be part of this mission statement. So I built it into the strategy. And I did it on basically a one-page document. That's my original one-page document that I presented. And I got some great guidance from a mentor at Nike to say, when you're talking to leaders, put it on one page. Because if it's on multiple pages, they start reading ahead. And they're not really listening to you. So if you want people to hear you, or to listen to you, not hear you, then you need to make sure you're making eye contact and you keep it on one page. So you can only read so much on one page. But what I did is what came through was passion. Passion for a vision to provide inspiration and innovation to a population of people that I truly, truly cared about because I'm from there. That's where I grew up. So that's my one-page document. Some of it's still relevant today, some of it's not. But what it's really premised on is that back in 1999, before we had maxims, which we live by today, we had brand principles. And the brand principle number one was to inspire people to connect with sport and fitness to help them reach their full potential. A brand principle of a company that I get to work for, I said, that's perfect what I need to do for that toolkit. That tool chest that I want to create for people that have a very, very difficult job in our tribal communities. And I want to work directly with those people. And then the beginning, again, was about servicing the community. Really about servicing my population of communities. Nobody had to sign up. I mean, I heard a lot of people talk about how do you approach it. I just proposed the opportunity. How would you guys like to get access to Nike product to use as incentives to promote physical activity? And it was up to them to say, yeah, I'm in. Or, no, I'm not really interested right now. It was up to them. So it was a slow go. I can tell you today we work with over 300 tribal communities across the United States. And then another probably 75 or 100 in Canada that use Nike product as incentives to promote physical activity today. But as you see there's two monumental moments for me career-wise. One is the first one, and you see that's our global president of operations, Gary DiStefano, and I was fortunate that Gary took me under his wing and felt the passion that I had for my community and wanted to give me the tools to be able to do that. So what Gary's doing is he's signing the first ever memorandum of understanding between a for-profit company and a government agency for the betterment of one community. So that document being signed is an MOU between Nike and the Indian Health Services. And when you think Indian Health Services in our community, maybe not the greatest thoughts happen, right? There's a lot of history there, a lot of baggage there. But what we looked at it as is an opportunity to connect directly through the community through a unique partnership. How can we help enhance the lives of our community with the health governing piece of our people, right? The Health Services basically owns the health governance of our people. So how are we going to do that? And that's a reauthorization of that document. We're on our third iteration now of that document because it continues to add value. When you look at the logo, so I go back to this because what happened from that document is monumental for me personally and monumental for my community. From that document came some scientific research around a complication that our community has around type 2 diabetes. And the people who have type 2 diabetes or are pre-diabetic, what we found out is there's a complication called neuropathy. And neuropathy happens when you lose the circulation in your foot because of the complications of diabetes. So if you go back and you do some research in our communities, we probably are in the top 5 in amputations in the United States because our people tend not to take care of their feet. Well, I happen to work for a shoe company that makes shoes. So we went out and did foot scans and did some scientific analysis and saw that people who had the onsets of neuropathy had a little wider foot base, but they were wearing our shoe at a larger size. So you think that you have a larger size foot, a size 9 foot, they're buying 9.5 or 10 shoe to go out and exercise to compensate for their width. So what we did is we went out and created a shoe called the Air Native. The Air Native is built on a specific last for that foot, with no seams in the shoe for any ulcerations, and the comfort and ride that they need to encourage them to go out and be active. So we launched that shoe in 2007. We signed the document in 2004. So lots of work behind the scenes with IHS to make sure that we're building the correct product for this community. One of the things I wanted to make sure is that the product had a mark on it that made sure it belonged to our community. It belonged to our... So we call those things move moments. Every time we do a move moment is when we launch a collection or product in the marketplace. And we continue to do those move moments throughout the year. Every time we launch a collection, we do a move moment across the country. We do 7, 8 communities at a time, where Nike will send them a box, a kit, a field day and a kit in a box. We'll send it to a community that we have a relationship with, and that community will then go out and move anywhere from 100 to 200 kids on one day, get them out moving, get them out being physically active. So how do we inspire them? We inspire them through our product. Nike's about product. We inspire through our athletes, through our ambassadors, and we inspire them through storytelling. So as you start to see our product, there's a story to all of our product. And again, product is king, so as you look at it from us, I would be remorse if I didn't put a product slide up there, because N7 is really about product. That's what we have, because that's Nike's contribution to the fund. That's what they do. They have product, right? And they have brand stories to help us tell stories. Our muse, who we're making this product for, the 17 to 20-year-old Native athletes. We believe the 17 to 20-year-old Native athlete can influence all of you in this room, but they can also influence people who are younger than them. So we really focus on, when we build product, we build it for them in running, sports, basketball, and then we call sportswear. How a kid expresses themselves as a Native youth. We want them to be able to express themselves through the product that we build. We have a whole list of ambassadors. So all of these athletes, a great story about this is when N7 started kicking off, my Bo Jackson, we call it my Bo Jackson of N7, the guy who knows, is Noda Begay III. He's been my partner, my colleague, one of my best friends in the whole world. He's by me with this thing, and he's standing behind me. He's the one that talks to Jacoby. He talks to Bradford. He talks to the other athletes. I'll share with you guys that's not up there is we were very fortunate and when I went to the convening at the White House about a month ago for the launch of Gen I, that we signed Jude Schimmel, the Schimmel family of very, very inspiring kids. Jude Schimmel, who played 4 years of basketball at the University of Louisville, actually came to me and said, how can I become an ambassador? She signed up, she's part of our family, and she's doing a great job getting out motivating kids. Jude just launched a book. Anybody want to read an inspiring book? Jude Schimmel just launched her book 2 weeks ago. If you go to judeschimmel.com, you can pick up her book. But these athletes have all committed to the mission of inspire and enable 2 million Native youth to participate in sport and physical activity. The enable piece. So how are we going to participate in sport and physical activity by 2022? Why is that number up there? It's 7 years from now. 7 years from now. And I work for a company that loves challenges. They told Sam, put a stake in the ground. What's your target? When are you gonna get to those kids? When are you gonna move them? I had to pick a day. I said, what? 7 years from now, let's do it. Let's get after it. So we do it. So how do we enable movement? We enable movement through our fun. We enable movement through our move moments. So the video I just showed you. And we enable it through partnerships. So all the programs that we fund, the partnerships, Gen I, Wings of America Running Program, the Center for Native American Youth based in Washington, D.C. Those are our partners. They're all committed to the same mission of N7, inspiring kids. And so as I share with you the grant process, so I'm trying to be really humble about this because it's never about me. Right? Because if Nike told me we can't do this today, there's a warehouse out there that I could probably go work at. Not that that's probably where I'd go, but if I needed to, I have a lot of experience in distribution, I'd probably get hired at a warehouse and load a container somewhere. So it's always about the kids. I always put them first. And I can tell you today, since 2009, we're going to get grants, we're going to announce 77 U.S. grants in the next 2 weeks for FY15. Our fiscal year runs May 31st through June 1st. So we're going to do it for the end of fiscal year. With that, we will exceed $5 million to go back and inspire Native kids to participate in sport and physical activity. It's the commitment of our consumers, it's the commitment of our company, and it's the commitment of Sam Kraken that we want to continue to do that. So if I could share with you one final story before I come to the close, I want to share with you a program that we sent some funding to. And then I'll let them tell you what sport and physical activity means to them.
Being on the reservation is like a whole other world in its own. You know, you're kind of cut off. You can look in any directions and you won't see a lot for miles and miles and miles, and you have to drive a long way to get anywhere.
The kids should be moving regardless, and they should be moving from the time they get here till the time they leave.
It helps me focus more, and it helps me think.
If we give them opportunities to release some of that energy in a positive and proactive way, that's the best. And I think with that, our academic scores have also increased.
When we're done exercising, I was able to think more because then all the energy that is down by your body goes up to your brain.
And I tell them, get your blood flowing up to your brain to make you like an amazing thinker. I work with 8, 9, 10-year-olds. When they're sitting down all day, they lose focus. Students need a break, and when they get up and they do something active, it just like really helps their minds get going so they're ready for the rest of the day. When you actually give it a chance, you'll see that it's like 10 times better. And the kids perform better after they've been active because they're like, okay, this is active time and now it's ready to learn.
There's a lot of kids that don't get activities, so the only time they probably move is, at school.
We're used to moving around, we're used to not just sitting. We're up and moving around and staying engaged through what we're doing.
I have noticed, like, since we've been doing something active, they're proud of themselves. And academically, at the end of the year, I couldn't have asked for better data. And I do believe that those activity breaks and those breaks has something to do with it.
Has not been sold at retail. It can only be accessed through health promotion disease prevention programs. So those people have a very difficult job, have a tool called the Air Native that they can use to incentivize people to show up to their program and give them the proper foot and proper ride that they need to get them out and get them on the treadmills and get them out moving and get them walking. So that product still exists today. It's out there. We're making iteration number 3 that's going to come out in the summer of 2016. And the 3rd iteration of the same shoe. But what happened is, for that mark, so as I take you through that mark, the N stands for Native, and the 7 stands for 7 generations. And I'll tell you a little bit of when I left my community at age 19, my grandfather sent me down. He's actually my uncle, but my mother was 25 years younger than her brother, so he's kind of the gentleman who raised me. I was raised by a single mom. But as you look back 3 generations for guidance, direction, focus, the little husky kid sitting on my grandparents' last, I was husky then, I'm still husky now, right? But I go look back 3 generations of my family. You think about how far removed from my great-grandfather, Thomas Duck, who was part of the original colonization of the Fort Peck Indian Reservation right there, and then 3 generations later, there's my mother, and then there's me. So that's really looking back 3 generations. So what he told me is, you look back 3 generations for guidance, direction, and focus. You learn from those generations that came before you. You take that wisdom and you apply it to yourself. Because you're in the middle, and you look forward to your generations to hopefully make a difference. I create an impact, I create change, create positivity for the next generations that come after you. And as a 19-year-old kid, you got to think that's pretty heavy. That's some heavy words coming to a kid that's just trying to get the heck off the regs. Right? But when it made sense is when I started to create this, I was looking at what's the stories that my family told me, because we're storytellers. And that's a story that my grandfather told me that I needed to connect to. So that's why the N for the room stands for Native, the 7 stands for 7 generations, and that's how it was interpreted to me. The beauty of that is 7 generations encompasses a lot of interpretations, but most importantly, it's a belief that we have as all Native people. We all believe in 7 generations. So as we look back, that's kind of what I just wanted to kind of touch on. That's what the logo means. And once we started kicking in that Air Native, I went to the company and said, what if we gave the profits back to make sure that it didn't look like we wanted to make sure that we were making sure that we were moving forward with inspiring movement in the community. And the company said, great, go find a nonprofit, and we'll donate all the proceeds from the Air Native, we'll donate all the proceeds back to a foundation that can then inspire kids to move. So as any good entrepreneur would do, I did my work, I couldn't find one that would work, so I created my own. I created a thing called the Donor Advised Board. And we donated the money, and I went and tapped a lot of my good friends on the shoulder. So if you go to our website, n7fund.com, and you look, my board of directors is made up of Native community, with 3 Nike employees. Two of those Nike employees are Native American. So we have a donor advised board. What I call my donor advised board are subject matter experts. They know how that money should be invested. So we started to invest the money, and I went to our CEO and I said, there's this thing going on at Nike. So going back to my coaching days, you know, if somebody's running a play, you keep getting beat by it, you finally steal it, make it your own, so you can beat him by his own play. So I saw this thing called Live Strong that was happening at Nike. And it was really cool because there's so many people who were rallying around cancer in the color yellow. And I said, man, what if we created a connection? Because there's so many great stories in our community, around our Native community. What if we created great stories and put it on a Nike product? And we sold that product at retail. And then the proceeds from that collection can go back to the fund. We can have more kids. And lo and behold, Mark Parker, our CEO, bless his heart, said, I believe in what you're talking about, let's go do it. Fortunate, again, fortunate that I got the opportunity, and that's when it jumped from access to sport to, from access to the brand to access to sport. Because now we're really starting to move this brand in 7 sports. So we're talking about 2009 now. And then I tend to use this as a premise. Indigenous sports rooted in the heritage that continues to inspire participation today. And I would like to just touch on, you see some of our great athletes from the past, and you see some of our great athletes that are out there right now, but in the corner there's a young lady, her name is Janae Jumping Eagle. I'd love to share the story with you. So I was fortunate enough to sit with some of my good friends and colleagues here in December in Washington, D.C. when the president invited tribal leaders to come to Washington, and he also invited 40 kids. First time ever, President Obama invited 40 kids to come to Washington to be part of the Tribal Leaders Summit. And said, Sam, because you're so rooted in youth, I want you to sit with the youth. Best thing that's ever happened to me. Because I sat next to a young lady by the name of Janae Jumping Eagle. Janae's from Kyle, South Dakota. And on that ball right there it says, I wish all the sad kids in my community could feel like I do when I pick up this ball. So I just was inspired. They played a video for it called Generation I is Launched, right? The president's initiative called Generation I. And I don't know if you saw, but we made a pretty substantial financial commitment to Generation I because we're committed to our next generation. And so as I sit next to Janae and I gave her my card, I said, girl, you keep doing what you're doing. Just know that if you need something, N7's here for you. That's December. February, I get a phone call. It's Ryan Jumping Eagle. Ryan is Janae's dad. So when Ryan calls me, he said in his typical South Dakota res accent, Sam, it's Ryan. I know you don't know me, but we're going to need your help. I don't know who else to call. So immediately I put on my Montana res accent and I talked back to him. And we talked, and I said, what do you need my help for, Ryan? He said, we've already had 5 suicides since Janae was there. The sad kids are killing themselves. And I said, oh, man. So then we're talking about February. So by the time we were able to rally together and help put something together, Janae wanted to do a basketball tournament. And she wanted to have some suicide prevention people there, and she wanted to do this, but she wanted N7 product to be the inspiration to inspire the sad kids to participate. And so I agreed. No questions asked. We figured it out. We went. I sent one of my teammates to South Dakota. By the time we got there, we're talking 45 days from the first call from Ryan to the event. 17 kids committed suicide in Kyle, South Dakota. You know how many people live in Kyle, South Dakota? How many people live in Kyle, South Dakota? Let's start there. Right? How many people live in Kyle, South Dakota? Not many. And they go to high school, you think their high school's K through 12. They got 120 kids. Of those 120 kids, 17 of them chose to take their lives. Crazy. Crazy. Breaks my heart that our kids feel that way, that they choose, that there's not hope for them to live. So they choose to die. So for me, that's a call to action for me. So I want to share that story. So this is our call to action. As we look at these statistics, these are real life statistics, whether they directly face our kids or not. These are statistics that my team has dug up. And as you look at it, these are the areas of focus that we look to fund programs with N7 resources. We fund programs with N7 resources. So looking at the demographic, we're talking about 6 million people in North America that check the box to say Aboriginal, Native American, First Nations, Métis. We're talking North America. 2 million of them are kids under the age of 18. As we look at N7 from a brand truth perspective, so as we're diving into the business people, now I'm going to put my business hat on. Okay? Take the passion hat off, put a business hat on. We got brand truths. For N7, sport is our passion. Sport. We want kids to play, know, and believe sport. Youth is our energy. The next generation to affect is right now. We have an opportunity right now Consider it as our innovation. So as you spoke about the earth and everything, all of our product is environmentally preferred product. I want to make sure that if it has an N7 logo, we've used minimal waste. We've taken it out. We're using non-toxicates. We're using organic cotton t-shirts. We're making sure that the earth is #1 for us as we build our product. We are storytellers. I'm here to tell stories. I'm here to tell you my story. We're storytellers. We serve the 17 to 20-year-old athlete. We lead with product. Nike is about product. And I've had a fortunate opportunity that we can build some pretty cool product. And then we deliver the power of sport, we deliver the power of movement through sport. Here's the mission of my brand. Here's the mission of N7. So hopefully if you leave with nothing else, you learn this today. The mission of N7 is to inspire movement for 2 million kids. That's what we want to do every single day. The vision is to enable participation in sports and physical activity by 2022. Our Just Do It tagline at N7 for our kids is move your generation. Move your generation. It can go to you, it can go to a kid, it's about moving your generation. That's what we want to do. And then we always stay grounded in who we are. And it reads in every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the seventh generation. So we should allow them to do that. And we believe in what we're doing. And so I'll say in closing, N7 is not in the diversity supplier program. N7 does not sit in the diversity and inclusion part of Nike. It's a single set-aside business that is a self-sustaining business model that allows us to give back to our community. I feel very fortunate to stand in front of all of you to say, this mark I have hanging around my neck here is actually a trademark logo for Nike now. When I first started and I wrote that original plan, there was never an intention in my life that I would be standing in front of you guys and talking about this. I never believed that it could happen, but I was always passionate. I should say I never believed that it happened. I never knew it was going to happen, but I was always passionate enough to make sure that I needed to do it because I was representing those 2 million kids every day I came to work. So if I fail, I don't fail on me, I fail on them. And that's where I kept my passion in. It's never about me. And my team does the same thing. It's never about us. We are there to be the advocacy voice for Native youth at the largest sports and fitness company in the world. And without consumers buying into that, and so I kind of leave today with 2 things. One, introduce you to Kelly Wade. Kelly's right there. We're opening a brand new Nike store here in the Foxwoods Resort in a couple weeks. In there, we hope to have N7 products. So all of you people out here on the East Coast, if any of you choose to invest in Native youth, you know where to go get it. Go see Kelly. Right? Because, and I always say this, I always tell this when I talk to Native communities, because sometimes our communities are very possessive. Man, that's Native product. How come I can't get it? It's always sold out. Can't get it. You can get it anywhere. You know, I always see non-Native people wearing N7. The sneakerheads are buying all the KDs. Right? I said, think about this. Every consumer has a choice. It's their dollar. They chose to invest that dollar in Native youth. So as a Native person, when you see non-Native people wearing N7, tell them thank you. Because they could have bought something else. They could have bought whatever they wanted to buy, but they chose to buy N7. And when they made that choice, thank you for helping our kids. So I leave you with that, and I leave you if there's any communities. We have this mantra that we don't want you to invest in us, we want you to invest with us. So if people want to invest with us in programs that I believe are truly making a difference for the next generation of Native youth, I got a card for you right here in my pocket. Because we're looking for partners. And we're looking for people to bless. We have tribal partners out there that partner with us all the time because they believe in the mission of what we're trying to do. And with that, I acquaint you all, N7 messengers. You know the story. Spread the story. Tell the story on behalf of 2 million Native youth. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. In our traditional way, as we do as Native people, I would like to bring up Jade and thank her for her commitment to not only this initiative, but the future of business in Indian country. So I brought this for her, she told me, I told her they were sold out.